inspired. There are at least two lessons that can be learned. One is that it would be a serious mistake to focus on parliaments in isolation. The key position of Montesquieu is that all elements of a political system are interconnected, and that therefore you have to study rules and institutions in its specific context. This applies also to parliaments. You cannot understand how parliaments work if you do not take the relationship between parliaments and other institutions into account. Therefore, the new institute will not only deal with parliaments as such, but will certainly also look at the context of the parliamentary system as a whole. And the second lesson that can be drawn from Montesquieu that he is very skeptical about federations. He convincingly argues that a federation can only exist if it consists of more or less homogeneous states. In my view, that means that the chance that the European Union will grow into a feasible federation is, at least in the short term, very small. Surely, after recent enlargements, the European Union has many member states who have relatively little in common. Under these circumstances, there is no chance of a European federation with a strong European Parliament and a strong European government. It is therefore reasonable to assume that our democracy remains primarily vested in the nation states, at least in the foreseeable future. For the new institute, this means that it would be wrong to focus too strong on the European Parliament. National parliaments will remain a major area of attention. So I think Montesquieu is an excellent choice as it comes to the name of the new institute. And I'm convinced that in the spirit of Montesquieu, we, in cooperation with our colleagues here in Maastricht and elsewhere, that we can make the new institute a great success and that many politicians, academics and students will be inspired by its activities. Ladies and gentlemen, I have talked long enough. It is time for the official kickoff of the new institute. And we are very happy that the man who is prepared to open the new institute today here in Maastricht is someone who is capable to do so more than anybody else. Among many other positions he has held during his long career, he was Minister of Economic Affairs in the Netherlands and a member of Dutch Parliament between 1978 and 1982. And of course, he was the Dutch Prime Minister for 12 years, during which he chaired the European Summit that led to the Treaty of Maastricht in 1992. Therefore, it is a great honor for me to give the floor now to Ruud Lubbers.
Thank you for inviting me for the conference. We'll continue with that later, but now with the opening of the Maastricht branch, I understand, of the Montesquieu Institute. It was all put very clearly by you, sir, and I want to add just a few remarks. Yes, it is important. I think in society I had the privilege to be in politics for 21 years. Constitution, Parliament's system is key. So when there is now an institute looking into that historical perspective, but also today and how it has to develop, I think that is just great. It's very needed. The whole idea and the role of Parliament is, you should say, very diversified and not always, at least not the European one, fully appreciated. I remember it's now 15 years ago I paid a visit to President Mitterrand with my friend Hans van den Broek, the then foreign minister, and we tried to strengthen the parliamentarian dimension, democratic dimensions of Europe. I told my story to President Mitterrand, and then he responded to me. Mais, Monsieur Lubert, le Parlement est zéro. La Commission est zéro. Zéro plus zéro fait zéro. Okay, something has changed maybe, but it's still a long process. A second remark, in your short introduction, you said at a certain moment that it's more complicated these days for parliaments, let's say the Montesquieu system as such, to do the job of governance, because there are other elements. Yes, indeed. Since I left politics, I learned, this is from 95, that in an era of globalization, or with other words, in modernity, governance is complementary. It's just the key element, is the Montesquieu system. It's politics, if you like, democracy, if you like. But there's also governance by the economic sector itself, multinationals. And there's a lot of governance by civil society. Therefore, I use this expression, complementary governance. So when you think, but what is it based on? Because in the Montesquieu system, we have constitutions. And some people are even dreaming about a European constitution, or making that. But there is also this complementary governance, and there you found with the material in this, for this conference, the Earth Charter document, because that's an ethical document with the ambition to guide the different branches. Politics, yes, but very much that comes from civil society. It's a contribution of civil society, and it's used more and more in business. So this is gradually developing. Now I do think, nevertheless, that this is great, the Montesquieu Institute, because that branch, the political branch, is a very important one, can be further improved. We can learn from each other. And I'm delighted to be invited here. But add to that, don't be taken by this negative remark of President Mitterrand. You will overcome. And at the same time, be aware that the political contribution to quality of life will be more successful if politics are able to work together with other venues, as I indicated. The world of business, and very much, and it's growing every day, the civil society. So in that spirit, let's do what we have to do and declare it for open. That's the way we do our job. Okay, congratulations. Okay, there you are.